Okay. in that moment, I kind of accept. Yeah, so, and that's where training sometimes there's really no strict rule book. Just kind of gotta go with the flow. So now what I'm going to work on specifically is actually pay attention to what you're doing in the play. Not just stop behavior. Give me your brain. side. Okay. So now we're going to work the door, right? Come. Hey. Okay. You know what? Good day, folks. Welcome to the live. Okay, yes. So now we're going to work the door, right? Now, this is one of the things that you guys wanted to work on was the door manners. So the concept is exactly the same, right? So every barrier, what you must do is create ownership of that barrier. Same as the couch, right? So when we go in any door or when we exit any door, they cannot go in until you give them permission to, which means you have to be the first one to enter that barrier or exit the barrier. Does it's the same exact thing for their crates, right? When you open that crate, just because you open that door does not give them permission to run out. They only can enter or exit when you say, okay, come, right? Again, respecting space, right? And I always like to take it back to the primal nature of animals, because again, hierarchy rules, right? They're pack animals. So it's no different than the hunt. If you notice, you always see the pack leader in the front leading the hunt, because obviously they know best, they have the most experience, they're the strongest, so on and so forth, right? And it's the same thing for you guys. You have the most experience, so you know if you open that door and they run out, there's a chance that they can run in the street and get hit by a car. They don't see that, right? They can't, they have no concept of that. We're the only ones that understand that. So we have to implement to them, like, hey, look, I'm not asking you to understand what's going on. I'm not asking you to understand why I'm telling you to wait here. Just do it for me, because it's in your best interest, right? So that's how we're going to treat the door. So all I'm going to do and is take a step back. There we go. Hey, come on, man. Good boy, right? And we're just going to repeat this process. So all I'm going to do is take a step back. I'm asking him to come off the step. Again, aggressive tap on the shoulder, and I'm just going to do it until, there you go. That's all I'm looking for, right? I'm just going to keep, hey, come on. And every tap gets a little bit more aggressive, right? Because that's simply saying, hey, I know you really don't like this. I don't like that you're disobeying, right? So until we meet that compromise, it's going to keep happening, right? So now what I'm going to do, okay, and you can even in this moment put them in a sit. Right? You don't necessarily have to, but it's a great exercise to just kind of work your mental and to kind of work the consistency of working obedience. The beautiful thing about obedience, there is no perfect time to work obedience. Every moment is an opportunity to work obedience, right? So even when you're feeding, asking them to sit, asking them to down before you give them the food, right? And we're going to go through that as well, just to kind of show you how I work that. Okay? So now, so notice I went to take a step forward, he went before me. We don't go. You don't move forward until I say, come on, right? Nope. So now I'm just asking for patience. That's all I'm asking for. And the good thing I like about these leashes is they have a double handle. So if you need to shorten it, it makes it easier just to control. Now notice how Max is staying back. But of course, we know Bandit is going to push the envelope a little bit more, but that's what I'm looking for. He understands that, okay, he doesn't want me to go past this threshold, so I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait until he says it's okay, right? So now we're working on Bandit. I know you're getting in trouble because of Bandit. I understand. I used to get in trouble because of my brothers and sisters too. Come on. Now this is kind of, I guess, a drawback of working two dogs at the same time, because by default, Max is kind of getting some of what Bandit is working on, which is not a big deal, and that is kind of a drawback. But because it's not like super corrective, do. That way he's not getting the correction that Bandit deserves. Moment, we think, hey, it's only 2 feet, but to them, it's totally different. So everything we just worked here, it's the same exact thing here. Yeah. And this is where the patience, this is why I speak patience so much, because it takes a lot, it takes a lot out of you, right? Because we're so forward thinking, and we forget dogs, they literally, I mean, if they think 5 seconds ahead, that's a world for them, right? That's like 24 hours. So if they're thinking 5 seconds ahead, we're 15 minutes ahead, and we're so far ahead of them. This is why it takes communication, because we have to bring ourselves down to the dog in order to bring them up to us. Folks, we're transitioning into the house. Let's go. Good, there we go. Good. There we go. Okay. Good. Okay, yeah, you guys can close the door if you like. And we don't want to let all the mosquitoes and the, what's it called, the cicadas. Man, those cicadas are a different beast. Okay, so yeah, so now, what we're going to do is, actually, it's good that the food is out because we're going to do some work with their food. Now, here's what I suggest, right? Especially in the beginning, and you'll kind of know when you don't really have to do it, hand feeding, right? So every meal is literally hand fed because what that's going to do is that's going to give you guys the leverage to get the behaviors that you're looking for out of them. Because again, if you take it back to their most primal nature, right, nothing is given to them in the wild. They have to work for it, right? And some of that still exists in them. Now, obviously, it's not as prevalent as a wolf, right? But it still exists in them, right? So we're gonna use that, see, nope, that was perfect, right? And these are the behaviors that we're looking for that I didn't necessarily get in my house, right? That we can address while we're here. Because again, those behaviors, it's like, oh, I know that couch. I know that window, right? So now we can address some of these behaviors. And that's why it's so important, not necessarily, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys for a moment, right? You know, of course I do a lot of board and trains, right? And 90% of the time when dogs come to me, people, you know, they want, which I understand, you know, I just want the dog to sit. I want the dog to stay, which is beautiful. But here's the issue. Most of the time, people don't understand what it takes and the psychology that it takes to get a dog to do that. They just want the dog, when it comes back from me, they just want the dog to do the behaviors. But if you're not understanding what you're doing to empower the dog to do the behaviors that you don't want it to do, it doesn't matter what the dog does with me. If you're still doing the same thing when the dogs come back, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna go back to doing the same thing, right? Because dogs are very habitual animals. Just like us, we're very habitual, we're very ritual, right? Repetitious. Whether we even realize it or not, we do a lot of the same behaviors, and we don't even realize it, right? And they're the same way. Hey, good boy. Good, there you go, that's a good boy. Any opportunity I get that they give me their attention, I take it, right? Because I want them to understand the more you do that, the more you look to me for direction, the more love you're gonna get. So obviously he knows the food is there, which is okay. So now what I want to do is, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna sit on the couch here, and we're gonna do some hand feeding work.
Okay.
As we're sitting on the couch, because what I'm trying to reproduce is them jumping on the couch, so we can correct it in a moment, right? All right, cool beans. So I'm gonna grab some of this food here.
Go for it.
Hey. No. Hey. Hey. And I purposely didn't feed them this morning because I knew we would be doing this when we got here. So that way they were a little hungry. Hey. Come on, there we go. Can you guys see me in the camera?
Yep, I'm gonna turn it.
Hey, look. Perfect. Hey, nope. There we go. Nope. There we go. Good boy. Right? Sit. There we go. Good boy. There we go. So now you see how they're starting to offer behaviors, right? Because we have a high value reward in our hand. So we want to use that to our advantage. Now, obviously, the goal is not to have food every time. Hey, shh, good boy, there we go, good boy. There we go, good boy. So perfect example, right? And this is where sometimes you just gotta be hyper aware of what's going on so you can correct it in a moment. So of course, hey, there we go, good boy. So that hey is the same as the aggressive tap on the shoulder, right? I'm only using my voice.
You're not even pulling.
I don't have to, hey, good boy, there we go. But it's most important, again, the concept is the same, right? I'm redirecting that energy, but I must reward him. Hey, there we go, good boy. I must reward him because he's making the decision to come back to me, right? I have no ties to him. He's making the active decision to come back. Bandit, good boy, there we go. That's a good boy. And Max keeps stealing your food. But he's making the active decision to come back to me, right? Because he could very well say, hey, F you, I'm gonna go do what I wanna do, right? But through conditioning over time, this is the engagement that, that I was talking about. Bandit, come, good boy. There we go, good boy. Max, sit. There we go, good boy. Sit. Good boy. Bandit, sit. Good boy. That's a good boy, right? So this is the conditioning over time that we've been working on, right? So, again, they have a great base, And the same things that we're doing here, this is what I suggest you guys do for every meal, for every walk out the door. Because over time, Bandit, good boy, there we go, good boy. Okay, I'll give you one too, I know what you want. There we go, hey, sit, down, sit, down, there we go, good boy. Now his down, let's see if we're gonna work his down. He gave me more trouble on his down. But we're gonna see what he's gonna do for us. Bandit, hey, sit, down, sit, down. Come on, there we go. Put the butt down. Come on, sit. Down. Come, sit. Not you, sir. Down. There we go. Good boy. There we go. So, literally, this is a routine. This is a routine. So, the same way you guys portion out their meals, I would literally, the entire portion of their meals, hand feed. Hey, Bandit. Good boy. There we go. Good boy. Yep, I would literally portion out their meals and hand feed them the whole time, because this is how you're going to build more value in you, right? And that's the most important thing. And this is how you stop them, even if they run out the door, right? Because sometimes, hey, look, we're human and things happen, right? Their dogs, Bandit, good boy. They're going to sneak past us sometimes. They still have a mind of their own, just like children. So they're going to try to do things sometimes, right? So obedience is not always about being perfect. Right? It's about being able to correct the moments when we do slip up, right? So if they, hey, Bandit, good boy, there we go. So if they do slip up, or we do slip up and that door opens and they run out, the ability to just call their name and have them come back is gold, right? Bandit, go. Yeah. No, it's cool. But these are the moments, right? And that when you look on YouTube and you see training videos, these are the moments that you don't see, right? This is why I like to go live, because this really lets us know, hey, like stuff happens during training, right? Training is not about being perfect, right? It's literally, I actually want these moments so people can learn how to properly act in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. So let's talk. Look, he didn't know where he was going. You see what I mean?
Right,
he had no clue that the leash was wrapping around the thing. All he know was when in the moment, right? And this is why he ran, because he's like, oh my God, what's going on, right? Because the energy changed. So he was just trying to get away from that energy, right? But again, this is what we were talking about with him. That's his genetics, right? When things get tough, he wants to get out of there. But if you notice, he was chilling. He wasn't really affected by it, right? And that's the most important thing that I try to get people to understand about dogs. And again, it's no different with people. You are who you are, right? Now, we can manage the environment, right? We can teach behaviors to kind of manage what your genetics are telling you to do, to override it a little bit. But every time there's a new situation that we have not conditioned you for, the genetics are going to come out, right? So that was a situation we have not conditioned him for, because there's no way we can condition him for that.
Right.
His genetics said, get out of Dodge.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Danger.
Let me get out of here, right? I don't know what's going on. The noise is loud. Mom got up. What is going on? Let me get out of here, right? And that's that behavior, that aggression that we were kind of experiencing in the beginning. Because he couldn't get away, he was on the leash. He was fighting the leash, right? So if he can't get away, it's that fight or flight. Where if I can't get away, then I have no choice but to turn around and fight, right? So the leash, for whatever reason, was representing danger for him. Don't know why, doesn't really matter, right? Because we fixed it now. You see what I mean? So now, when we go to put the leash on, he's happy, right? Because that's what I created, and how I created that was very simple. When I presented the leash to him, I put my hand in between the loop and presented food. So now the leash represents happy, right? As opposed to, for whatever reason, he was associating that leash with, and then he lashes out, right? So that's how that works. That's how good boy, Max. Good boy. I know, good boy.
So when they're,
Mhm.
when we're home,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm upstairs working.
Yes.
And like, do I keep the leashes on
I would
them?
definitely in the beginning, I would suggest that.
Okay.
Absolutely, because
And
well, that's, yes ma'am.
they can come down here, lay down, or come up and lay
So,
down, or?
in the beginning, and this goes to the potty training, because we were talking about them using the bathroom randomly, right? And that's something because, two reasons, you know, I have other boarding trains, so I have control playtime, and they can come out and kind of play with other dogs. But I keep them in the kennels, one for their safety, just to you know, cut down on any possible accidents, fights, or anything like that. And then two, to stop them from being able to go to their favorite place and take a squat, or you know, lift their leg and pee, because they're going to do it. But when you start controlling the environment and giving them boundaries, right? So your office is upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is keep them in the office with you. So that way it's easier for you to keep an eye on them. Actually, what I would really do is keep them in the kennel, because it just cuts down their ability to not be seen, sneak off, and do something that they're not supposed to do.
Keep the kennel in my office.
Keep the kennel in your office, yes. Now, a kennel is not a bad thing, right? Because again, if you go back to the primal nature of dogs, they're actually burrow animals, right? They dig caves. Most of the time they're in their cave because it's safety for them.
Yeah.
That's their spot, right?
We never,
that's
we
their
never
spot.
caged them. We never put them in a kennel.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're used to it now.
And you put them together, you said,
Yes,
right?
you can put them
Yeah.
together. That's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine.
And should I keep the door open? Like when I'm in the office, keep the
So-
door open?
Eventually, yes. Because, and do you have a kennel here for them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a small one you can bring downstairs?
Yeah, it's fabric, right? It's like a
Yeah, if
Where
you want
is
to
it?
bring
it's in the
door?
it's in the shed.
In the shed, yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, if you want to bring it just so we can kind of go through it.
Yeah.
Because eventually you will be able to keep the door open, right? And we'll be able to go through that here right now today, how you're going to teach them that, again, just because that door opens, it's the same concept. Doesn't mean you have permission to come out, right? So I'll teach you guys how to implement that. And of course, in the beginning, you know, it's going to be a little work because they're going to try to push the envelope. They're going to want to come out. But the key thing is, again, is the balance. Okay, when you're in that kennel, this is actually when you have the most fun, right? This is when you get to relax, right? So you put a high value toy in there, you feed them in there, whatever it is to keep them busy in that particular space. So now they're associating, oh, I get to go in here and have fun, right? This is where I have fun.
And they used to sleep with us.
Okay.
So are you advising against that?
Again, when they got in the bed, did they get in the bed when they wanted to, or did you guys invite them in the bed?
They went when we went. Like
Okay.
they didn't. They would lay in there like without me during the day, but like bedtime,
Okay.
they went when we went to bed.
So again, it's the rules, boundaries, and limitations, right? If that's something you guys want, that's okay. The question is, when it's time, like for example, if you guys are still in the bed,
Yeah.
were you able to tell them to get out the bed and stay out the bed? You would have to get out the bed in order for them to get off the bed. Exactly, right? So that's the difference. You can invite them in your space because that bed is your space, right? That's you guys' time to bond with each other, right? And if they don't understand that, hey, me and dad, we want some alone time, right? We need you guys to go. That's what they have to understand, right? Because now, hey, we gave you your time, now go to your space, right? Go to your room, go to your cage, you know, whatever term you want to use to let them know this is our time to bond.
Okay.
So that's the difference, right? So when they get in the bed, they can no longer, just because you're getting in the bed, they can no longer just get in the bed with you, right? They have to be invited. So now, do they have like a step that they use, or they jump on?
Yeah, they have to have a step because our
Right.
bed's too high.
So I would take the step away. Take the step away, and they're gonna whine. They're gonna do, you know, they're gonna rebel, right? And it's gonna be that moment where it's like, okay, you know, they're whining, they're doing all that stuff, but you have to ignore it. Because they have to understand, like, this is not how I get what I want.
Yeah.
So what you're looking for in that moment, right? And again, we don't know if it's gonna take 5 minutes, we don't know if it's gonna take 10 minutes, heck, we don't know if it's gonna take 15 minutes. But once we wait it out and they calm down, that's when you invite them to bed.
Okay. And then is that when I give them the stairs or?
Yes, you can place the stairs there for them and invite them up.
Okay.
Because what they're gonna associate the stairs with is, okay, when they put these stairs down, now I have permission to come up, as opposed to the stairs are always there, so I can go up anytime I want, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, you said sometimes they would be in the bed before you guys get there.
Not
Or-
before, but they would come to bed with us, but then when I would work during the day, they would go back to bed
They would go
after
back.
they pottied and ate.
Gotcha.
Their routine was to go back to bed without me.
Exactly, yeah, so going forward, because they've claimed that space. As
Yeah.
of right now, that's their bed.
Yep.
So now you have to reclaim that, right? That is your bed. So they no longer have access to that specifically when you guys aren't there, because that's not their bed. They have their own bed, right? So definitely that's how I would do that going forward.
Okay.
You know, but it's very important that, again, in the beginning, it's gonna be a little tough, because they're gonna whine, they're gonna jump, they're gonna wanna do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Ignore it, however how long it take. It shouldn't take no longer than, I mean, if we're talking about bedtime, I can't see it taking no longer than a week at the most.
Okay.
And you'll notice each day,
It'll get
however
better.
long it took the first day, it's gonna be shorter and
Okay.
shorter and shorter. But I'm projecting, right, and it's kinda hard to know, but I'm projecting a week at the most of getting them to understand, when you calm down, that's when the steps come. Right, and when the steps come, that means you can get in the bed now, but not until you calm down. Yes, sir.
And you use those same keys, you know,
Mhm.
wait, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah,
So-
whatever, like, so the noises that you guys hear me, you don't necessarily have to duplicate the noise.
Right.
Whatever you guys feel comfortable.
Yeah.
It could be ha 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 ha, it could be whatever it is that you guys, what I'm doing with those noises is I'm just piercing the intensity of their focus, right? I'm just using the noise exactly how I use the leash, right? And how I condition that is, in the beginning, as I started using the leash, I coupled the noise with the leash, right? Because what that does, that builds that muscle memory, right? So that allows me to, if I don't have access to the leash, they're so used to hearing that noise with the physical, their mind automatically goes to, oh, what's going on, right? Let me report in, because I'm so used to hearing that now you don't even need the physical anymore, right? You can just use the words. So, and that's where you saw when I, hey, right? And they, you see, so they're so used to it. Now you can, to make it easier, because they're already familiar with, hey, they're familiar with that, you see? So you can use that just to make it an easier transition, right? But if it doesn't feel natural, hey, no. There you go, good boy. If it doesn't feel natural, I would rather you guys change the words to something that feels natural, because it'll be an easier transition for you. They'll adjust faster, right? The less thinking you have to do, the easier they're gonna adjust, right? So yeah, but that's the general idea of that is the hey is equivalent to the aggressive tap on the shoulder, right? And it's the same with teaching the obedience, right? All I do is, again, you see they're looking at my hand, right? So I use that. So physiology tells me, because they're quadrupeds, that the higher I make their heads go, eventually their butts have to go down.
Yeah.
Because it's easier for them to keep looking up once their butt goes down. So all I do, along with the leash, right, is to help guide them as I'm pulling up on the leash, right, good boy, and their butt goes down, right, here's the key thing. This is where rewarding the dog and timing is critical, right? Because the pressure represents, hey, right, I want you to do something. I'm going to continue this pressure until you do what I want you to do. Once you do what I want you to do, pressure goes away. I got to release that pressure. Because what I'm communicating to the dog is the discomfort goes away Once you do what I asked you to do, that's the reward. The discomfort goes away. And now, not only does the discomfort go away, you get a reward, right? So the timing of that is impeccable because that's how dogs learn, right? They learn in those moments, right?
Right, the cause and effect, right?
Cause and effect. Remember, very black and white for dogs, right? So that concept across the board applies to everything. Same with the steps. As soon as you calm down, steps come.
Yeah.
Now you can be invited to the bed,
Yeah.
right? The steps to them is the food because they know those steps give them access to where they want to be, which is the bed, right? But you cannot get access until you
Calm
calm
down.
down. If you're frantic and all over the place, nope, unacceptable, right? Which typically what happens is because we feel bad for them, we give them access when they act like, when they're unruly, right? For two reasons, because we have that sympathy for them, and it's like, okay,
It's easier.
It's easier.
Yeah.
But not realizing it's making it harder in the long run.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's gonna be that transitional period
For sure.
where it's like you guys have to buckle down.
Yeah.
Nope, I can't. Nope, I'm not doing it. Because I know in the long run, this is gonna make the relationship for us much more enjoyable for the next 5, 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And that's more important, the 5 or 10 years and not the now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any questions?
No. We have
It's
this.
in this repair, we're gonna have to get a new one, but
Okay.
you can use the
The door? It has a
Yeah.
front door, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we can use it.
We had bought it for the car.
Yeah, we can use it. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah,
We'll
that'll
have to
do it
get a
just
new
fine.
one.
So yeah, if you wanna bring it over here. Nice. Good boy. Bandit. Bandit. Put it over there for me. I'm sorry, yeah, just so they can see it in the camera. Good, there you go. Perfect, right? So now what I'm gonna do to kind of create the euphoria, right? The dopamine effect that they're gonna get for wanting to be happy to go in there, right? In the beginning, all I'm gonna do is first I gotta get their attention. Hey, good boys, right? Toss it in there. Let them go get it. Good boys. And I just keep tossing food in there, right? I just keep tossing it in there, right? Because what I want them to understand, like everything that's good is gonna happen in there, right? And then, hey, no, right? As they try to cross that barrier, the same way here, right? When they try to cross that barrier, and this is actually good because it has this hole in the top, it allows me more access, right? So, let me get some more food real quick. Right? So, Max, good boy, good boy, there we go. So this is good because now I can work it from this angle, right? So this is actually perfect, it worked out perfect. Good boy. So, first I create the behavior that I want, which is getting them happy to be inside. Now, another way to do this to where you don't necessarily have to be here continuously doing this. If you guys, dogs like, I don't know, because I know they have some allergies. Peanut butter is typically a good way.
Yeah.
To
You
get-
can have peanut butter.
They can have peanut butter.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So if you have some kind of apparatus, and they have different toys, and you can even get hollow bones
Yes.
and pack it with the peanut butter, because what that's going to do is keep them in here, where you don't have to be here, being the source of them staying here, right? So that will keep them in here.
Okay.
Now, once, as a matter of fact, what we're gonna do is put a whole bunch of food down, right? There you go. Now what I'm gonna do is, as they try to come out, right, I'm just gonna correct, right? Aggressive tap on the shoulder. But, there you go. There you go. But as I correct, I must reward, because I want them to understand. I'll put it to you like this. Hey, good boy. Right? What I want them to understand is, yes, you got a correction because I didn't tell you to cross this barrier.
Yeah.
But what I do want you to understand is every time you make the decision to come back, even though I'm the one that manipulating you to do so, right? I want you to believe that you made the decision to come back. So now when you come back, I want to reward you, right? But going forward, once you get the bone or whatever toy with the peanut butter in it, that's going to keep them busy, they're going to stay in there. And then that's going to allow you more time to where you don't have to keep dropping food in there. When they do make the move to come out, you just slight correction, put them back in there, right? Or if you get a metal cage, this is another way to do it. When they go to leave the metal cage, you just politely close the door. Simple, right? Because what that tells them is, oh, hold on, the door is closing when I'm coming out. Well, the only thing they can do is back up. And eventually what that's going to do is that's going to create the muscle memory to where just because that door opens, that doesn't mean I can come out, right? I can only come out when I'm invited. So that's the easier way to do it, but this is another way to do it if this is what you have. You know, sometimes you got to use what you got till you get what you want, right? So using this, that's how we can do it. But once you get that metal cage, it's simply, and we can probably, let me see if we can, there you go, you just close it. And all I'm doing, you know the food is in my hand, so obviously it's hard because this is soft, right? So I just close it, hey. Good. All right, so now I open, he still thinks the food is in his hand. That's it, there we go, good boy. There we go, right there, we go, good. So yes, so if they try to come out, right, so now we open the door. If they try to come out, door closes. Nope, door closes, I drop food in, right? So that's the basic concept of how you teach that, hey, go to your room. I don't necessarily have to close the door for you to stay in your room, right? That's how we teach that. Because, again, think about it. In the wild, there's no door that comes down. You know, if the leader of the pack or the mother of the puppies, however they communicate that, whatever sound they use to say, hey, look, don't come out, it's dangerous. Them puppies know there's no door right there, but they know not to come out of that den, right? So this is the exact same thing that we're communicating with them. Yeah. So any questions on that?
No, I'm glad that will work.
Yeah.
We'll get a metal, but yeah, that's.
Yeah, the metal is just easier because obviously it's a harder barrier. So when you close that door, they can't just push through it.
Right.
So it just makes that door more real for them. But, you know, until you get that, this can work too.
And then if we leave the house, should we put them in their crate?
I would, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, again, the more you can preempt them or prevent, right, them from doing things that you know they're going to do, right? You know if you leave the house, right, if they have a particular spot that they like to go to, and a lot of the time, it's not that they're not potty trained. A lot of that is anxiety of being alone, right? So what we call separation anxiety. So it's no different than us biting our nails or tapping our feet. You know, whatever behavior that we do to kind of express that anxiety, that's what peeing for them is. So again, it's not necessarily that they're not potty trained. It's just the fact that I don't know how else to express myself. So I'm going to lift my leg and pee in my favorite spot because I'm almost positive it's pretty much the same spot every time they use the bathroom. And that's just how it works. Because they're habitual creatures, right? So when those emotions start to come out, let me go over here and do what I do, because that's the only way I know how to relieve it, right? So it's like that quick fix, yeah?
So going outside in the backyard, so on nice days, we'll have the door open, we have like a metal screen.
Okay.
When they go out and they can come back in.
Yep.
Is that giving them too much freedom?
Okay, say it to me one more time to make sure I got the whole.
Sure, so.
It's like a collapsible screen so they can go in and out as they please.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it comes apart when they go out, and then it's a metal so it comes back, so
It'll come back.
bugs don't come in,
Gotcha.
but they can go in
They can
and
go
out.
in and out. I think I know what you, yeah, it has like magnets on it to where,
Yes.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So,
so we can keep the door open and they can go out.
and you're asking if that's too much freedom.
Is that too much freedom?
I don't know, is it? Because see, it's not necessarily, it's more so, is it inconvenient for you when they do it?
When they
That particular thing,
when they go outside
when
by
they go outside,
themselves?
yeah.
No, not at all.
So no, it's not a big deal. If it's not an inconvenience for you guys,
Yeah,
and as long as if you want to, if you call them
yeah,
and they come back in, it's fine.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause they can't get out,
yeah,
and we have one other problem outside,
okay,
we have baby bunnies.
okay.
And we tried so hard
Mm-hmm.
to not, but they still had them.
Yeah,
Spray, reinforce the fence,
yep,
and they have gone after them every time.
yep.
And I don't know what to do.
Well,
They had 4 weeks to do this and get them out of the yard, and they just had them like 2 days ago.
oh, they have more.
Yeah, there's a hole that they dug.
Okay,
They dug up the whole yard, and I just kept filling it with dirt
okay,
and putting seed on it, and that seemed to like.
yeah.
But then they got it.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna, that's,
They're gonna find a way.
yeah, they're gonna find a way. So here's the thing. This kind of goes into the working dog world, right? I'm using terms that we would use in the working dog world. What we're essentially asking them to do is cap their drive, right? And basically what that means is their genetic or their biological directive to chase stuff. Because that's what they were bred for.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we're talking about genetics. We're asking them to go against their nature, which we can do. We can ask them to control their impulses to chase until we give them the permission to do so.
Yeah.
Because in hunting, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
We still have to cap that drive because they have the drive to chase stuff and catch it. That's literally, they were bred for rat. And rabbits, right? They're rats to them, basically. They don't really know the difference, right? So here's the thing, this is where the inconvenience comes in. Is it more so that you don't want to hurt the bunnies, or you just, okay, let me ask you a real question. Does it hurt your feelings if they catch the bunnies?
Nope.
Well, here's the thing,
Mhm.
is, yeah, I'm sad about the baby bunnies, but what happens is
Mhm.
they go and they run around with them in their mouth,
Yep, no.
and then I'm cleaning up all
Mhm.
these dead baby bunnies.
Yeah.
One time, the bunny was bigger,
Mm-hmm.
they brought it and
Oh,
put
so
it,
they actually caught him and killed him?
they've killed
Oh, wow.
a ton. They brought one in one time, put it on the couch, and it went behind the pillow,
Yeah.
and Bandit kept poking the pillow, and I picked up the pillow, and there's this bunny on my couch, and they were so excited.
Yeah.
But I can obviously take them out of the hole, but I don't want to be cleaning up baby bunnies.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is a tricky one because either you gotta stop the bunnies or you gotta stop them. The question is, which one is easier?
Well, how hard have I tried to stop the bunnies? I bought spray.
Mm-hmm.
I put grates
Mhm.
all around the fence,
Yep.
so they can get in one spot by the gate. But I can't obviously put a grate because then you can't open the door.
Okay.
So the spray doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
Obviously.
bunnies are gonna disappear one way or another when these guys are back, so.
Yeah. Well, that's
I mean-
because if I'm not mistaken, you said the 4 weeks that they wasn't here, that's when they came back and created the.
They kept creating these holes,
Yeah.
and
While they wasn't here,
Mhm.
but when they was here,
they're here.
they're gone.
No, they're still here. They're still chasing the bunnies.
Oh, so the bunnies still come even when they're here.
Yeah, they're dumb. They will chase them out, but their most favorite thing in the world is like squirrels and bunnies, like to
Yeah.
go out there and chase them.
So,
I think I'm gonna have to move the babies.
yeah, I mean, so there's that option. Then the other option is, again, cat driving, right? Which is essentially, when you see them chasing it, having the ability to call them out of it. Now that's a different level of obedience, right?
Right.
That's what we call in-drive obedience, right? Which we didn't necessarily have the ability to work on because I don't have, I can't duplicate that where I am. The concept is the same. The only difference is when they're outside, if you're proactively looking to create that scenario, keeping a leash, a longer lead, so you can go to, is there like Tractor Supply or something like that around here? So you can go to Tractor Supply, or if they have, I don't know if you guys have Farm and Fleet out there.
Yeah,
Farm and
that's
Fleet.
exactly what I'm thinking
Yeah.
about.
So Farm and Fleet, they have what they should have, which matter of fact, I'm almost positive they have what they call horse leads.
Okay.
They're like 30 foot, they could probably have 10, 15, 20, 30 foot, right? So I would get at least a 20-foot lead, attach it to these, right? What that's gonna allow you to do is, and this is where you have, right? So perfect example, I saw he wanted to get on that couch, I redirected, right? So when you see that they're going to look for those bunnies, redirect it, right? It's gonna take a lot, because again, once that drive, that prey drive, that is in them, it's never gonna go away,
I'm
right?
just gonna move on.
If it's easier,
Yeah.
I would say do that.
I mean,
Yeah, that's why I would say whichever one is easier, do
yeah,
that.
I think that, they're so driven to chase these guys
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
it's not fair to them, right, not to have their backyard.
I would say yes,
Yeah.
because asking them to stop doing that is literally like asking us to stop breathing.
Yeah.
It's hard. We can do it for a little while,
Yeah.
right? But at some point, our brain tells us
Yeah.
we got to do it, right? So, and with dogs like this, and this is why I always ask people, why did you get this particular breed, right? Because a lot of the time, we don't realize what we're getting ourselves into, right? A lot of these breeds, even though today they're not, oh, you want some water? Even water we can use as a reward, right? Everything that they want to get, use it to your advantage, right? So the same way you use the food, you can use the water the same way. But that was just a sidetrack, basically. I saw he was trying to get the water. What was I saying? Oh, when
Dog
we
breeds,
choose
yeah.
breeds,
Dog breeds, right?
Yeah, when we choose breeds, we have to understand what was this dog created for? Why did humans create this dog? Which means it has a biological directive that we intentionally and excessively, right? Because a lot of these behaviors, a lot of these neurotic behaviors are here because this is what we put into the dog. We literally bred specifically for the dogs to do these particular behaviors. But then when we get these breeds and they're doing what their biology is telling them to do, it's like, why are you being such an a-hole? Well, this is what you bred me to do. You see what I mean? But we're not taking that into consideration because we want them to be pets, right? Which they are, but they are their biology first.
Yeah.
We had miniature pinchers before. We knew that that's what they did was chase little animals.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're made for.
That's what they're made for.
Yeah.
So whatever's the easiest thing to do, if it's easier to go in there and get the baby bunnies and relocate them, I would do that. Yeah.
That's what I think we're gonna do.
Yeah, because it would definitely be a lot of work trying to get them to have control over chasing them.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of work. Specifically this guy, because he's in his own world, so. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's his world, we're just trying to live in it. Hey, right? So even, you saw that, again, that's all anxiety, right? that he's trying to figure out where to place it. Do you guys have a treadmill?
No.
So, if you can, I would get, and it doesn't have to be a super expensive one. Like I got one for like $100 off of Facebook Marketplace. It is one of those, like small movable
Yeah.
ones. That's a great way to
Get energy out.
help them get that energy out. Just put them on that treadmill, and I didn't do a video. As a matter of fact, I'll do a video with another dog just so you can see how to do it with them. Just let them walk. Get some of that energy out.
Okay.
Good boy. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. Good. So now, as a matter of fact, now that he's doing it, right? What we're gonna do is show him that when he relaxes, I'm just waiting on him to do what Max is doing. Nope. You almost had it. There you go, good boy. Hey, come. Good boy. Do they? Nope. That wasn't for you, Max. Come on. Can he jump on the couch too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Can't make it.
Okay, so normally you guys put him on the couch. Okay, no problem. Yeah, but yeah, that's how that works. Going forward, you have to invite him on the couch. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Any other questions?
No. So the backyard door, that's not a threshold.
It is when you want it to be.
Okay.
When you want it to be. In those moments where you guys are just chilling and, you allow them
Yeah.
to, have that door to have access, then that's fine. As long as it's not an inconvenience,
Yeah.
right? That's the most important thing with anything for you guys. If it's an inconvenience for you, then you have to set those rules and boundaries. If it's not an inconvenience, then it's not a big deal. Yeah. So that boundary is more so for the front door than it is the back door, because I'm assuming you guys don't, take them out on the leash in the backyard. You just kind of let them out, right? Yeah, so that boundary where it becomes an inconvenience when they're pulling you out the door and they're twisting you up in the leash trying to get out the door, that's when what we work on apart.
We have to take extra time to do it.
Prepare yourself for it.
Right, yeah.
Prepare yourself for it. Yeah.
It's not gonna be a minute, it's gonna be a process.
It's gonna probably take, especially in the beginning, 10 to 15. And honestly, probably a little bit more because you guys are learning the process yourself, right? So really, I would give yourselves 20 to 25 minutes, right? Now, obviously, here's the trick, especially when it's time to go out for the walks, right? You have to gauge, like, okay, how much time am I gonna spend before they use the bathroom, right? That's the tricky part. Sometimes you're gonna lose that battle.
And then if you wanted to start with the crate, you wanted to start where she's working during
Where
the
she's
day.
working.
Okay.
Exactly, because with that,
If possible.
the best you can, right? And that I'm glad you said that. Don't try to be perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Just try to get better, right?
Yeah.
Progression over perfection.
Okay.
Over time, you're gonna get to the point where it becomes second nature, right? Just try to focus on one thing every day, get that, then move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't forget, I tell people all the time, they don't really use it. You still have access to me through the WhatsApp. You can actually, there's a video calling feature that you can use to where if you have a moment where it's like, I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
call me. And call me on the FaceTime. The reason why that's important is because typically what happens is even if people call me, they'll text me or they'll call me and they'll say the dog is doing this. And the immediate thing that I go to is, well, what are you doing?
Let me see it. Right.
Let me see it. So I can correct you so you can correct the dog, right? Because if you're only telling me what the dog is doing, 9 times out of 10, you're doing something to produce that behavior from the dog. So if I correct you, by default, the dog is going to get corrected. Yeah. So use it.
And if I know someone's coming over, loose leash them,
Yes.
let the person come in, and when they become calm, then the person can greet them.
Exactly.
Use it as a training exercise. Well, it's not even an exercise, it's what you expect.
It's real,
Sure.
but it's in real time.
Mhm.
It's a training exercise, but it's in real time. Because, a lot of the stuff we can't produce, while we're doing this, right? We can only do, this is why I said there's no perfect time to train. Every moment is an opportunity to train. Every moment, use it, right? So if you got company coming over, the exact same thing that we did here to where, and we actually going to do that before we end. I'm going to transition them over to you,
Okay.
right? It's the exact same thing. When people come over, it's two ways we can do it, right? Do they normally get super excited and jump on people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, start out with the leash, right? Same thing that I'm doing here. One person sit on the couch, other person open the door. Of course, you let the people know the rules. Hey, when you come in, no touch, no talk, no eye contact. Ignore the dog. Because if you give the dog, oh, hey, then they're going to think, oh, this is what you want me to do. You want me to jump all over you and do that and then intrude your space, right? But if you have someone here, right, correcting them like now, right, this is perfect. Hey, good boy, there we go. That's a good boy, right? Perfect example, right? Somebody comes in and they're doing all that extra stuff. Hey, attention on me. And once they calm down, right, and the person is just kind of chilling, then you can let them go.
Okay.
Right?
And then they can get excited and.
Well, not necessarily excited, because you still never want them super excited. You really want them to be calm when they meet people. Because every time they get excited, right, that's reinforcing the behavior that we don't want, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
which means you also have to tell the people, hey, you can't get super excited either.
Yeah.
You can introduce yourself like, hey, how you doing? You see what I mean? Because once you get excited, then they're gonna get excited, right? So even training, there we go, that's what we wanted, right? Even training the people how to properly introduce themselves to the dog, right? And this is where, again, we talk about the dog aggression. They're not dog aggressive at all, right? Because I think I sent you videos of them walking with other dogs. What it is, they just have terrible social manners. They don't know how to introduce themselves like dogs normally do, right? Which is kind of sniff the butt, sniff the nose, right? Kind of walk around each other, see what the energy is like. What happens is, because they're so, what it does, depending on the dog, it creates that tension with the other, because the other dog doesn't know, like, what the hell is going on? Like, just imagine if somebody, introduce themselves like that to you. You go, what is wrong with you? Like, relax, man, I don't know you. You see what I mean? So it's the same thing with them, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that they're aggressive, they just don't know how to be chill, right? Because as soon as I don't know if you guys have ever actually went to another dog when they're in that state of mind. Have you guys ever done that? Did they fight?
Bark.
They barked,
Yeah.
but they never actually,
No, they didn't attack.
yeah, they're not aggressive at all. They just don't know how to introduce themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah. Bandit used to be very friendly to dogs.
Okay.
And then after Max came along, Max would bark at the dogs, and
And
then
he got
Bandit
to go.
started. Yeah,
Okay.
Bandit copies Max a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely the the leader. Now he does have a little food aggression.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but again, that's fixable as well. It's the same concept with the leash. When you see he starts to get a little possessive, correct it, right? Just leave the leash on, hey, right, and then let him go. So, but yeah.
It's gonna take some time.
It's gonna take time. That's why I said don't try to be perfect.
Yeah,
Just
that's a good point. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'll just get upset.
oh yeah. Hey,
So we got the same ones. Oh,
hey, good boy. That was good. Hey, Max. Oh, good boy. Max.
probably shouldn't have grabbed that.
No, it's okay. Hey. Good boy. There we go. Good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. And and I'm thinking of stuff as we go through. One of the biggest mistakes people make is if the dog goes to do something that you don't want it to do, right? We go, hey, right? That's the initial reaction most of the time, right? So the dog might, oh my God. But what we don't do in the moment is when they do come back and when they do stop, we don't praise them.
Right,
just kind of
for sure.
leave it with that negative, right?
Mhm.
It's very important that we have to make sure every time we correct, right, we direct, right? So I said no, come. Once he gets to me, excuse me, thank you,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
It has to, correction/redirection, direction, right? Praise. It has to follow that simple, hey. It has to follow that model, right? Because they have to understand the duality of, yes, I may get corrected, but I know when I do something good, I'm gonna get that effect.
Okay.
So, and that's us making sure we're in check of our emotions.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? That's the hardest part because we're so focused on, why did you do that?
Yeah.
But then we don't get focused on like, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that.
Right.
You see what I mean? So, hey, good boy. There we go. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, and I'm not gonna ask who the trainers were. I do my best not to talk about how other trainers train.
Yeah.
But as you can see, he can change.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah. I know. We get a lot of money for training while we were on vacation.
Okay.
We did like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Of kind of like a board and train
Yep.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like, they're too anxious.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll tell you this. I can almost guess the style of training that they use. It was probably, I don't know if you heard the terms force-free or positive only. Okay. So it's just like any industry, right? There's fads that come and go, right? And I think you guys might have seen the video where I said, is positive only training abusive to dogs, right? And I use these terms for a couple of reasons, obviously for clickbait on social media, right?
Hit it.
But there is some truth to it as well, because whether we realize it or not, being excessively positive is a form of abuse. Now, it's not the abuse that we typically think, where physical abuse or mental abuse, right, in a bad way. But any type of imbalance is a form of abuse. Because now what you're creating in a dog is a dog that doesn't understand, like, hey, bad things happen, right? Life isn't always all positive, right? There's repercussions to actions. And if we don't create that in a dog the same way we create it in people, we get delusional people. So we get delusional dogs. Because you get people that think life is all fruits and berries.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing bad can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
If you don't pay your bills, your car's getting repossessed. Right? If you don't pay your rent, they're kicking you out.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So, specifically with mammals, I mean, every animal on earth operates on negative, positive, right? Now in the dog world, because, I'm trying to be nice as I'm saying this, we have this extremist to where, because we humanize dogs too much, we don't want to feel like we are it's almost like we're so scared of being abusive, and I'm saying we in general, that we go so far to the other side where everything is positive, and that's where you get sentiments like they're too anxious. Well, that's because they don't want to correct the dog. So I'm almost positive, and I'm only saying this so you can kind of understand why they said what they said.
Yeah.
Because they were probably, kind of in that school of thought of positive only, which works for some dogs, which it does. Because if you don't have a dog like him, right, and even Max, it could probably work for Max, right? It'd probably take a little bit longer because, again, he still has that drive.
Yeah.
He has that. But a dog that doesn't have his level of prey drive, where it's just kind of, he's just kind of monotone, and you have dogs like that. Positive only can work. It doesn't work for every dog. And that's where they make the mistake. No form of training works for every dog the same. So you have to be able to understand the dog that you're dealing with. and say, you know what, I would love to do positive only, but he needs to understand that there's repercussions
Yeah.
to bad behavior. So, and that's where true balance comes in, right? But in order to do that, we have to be
Yeah.
balanced in our emotions.
Yeah.
Because if not, we're gonna project our bad
Yeah.
emotions onto the dog.
Yeah.
So, I get off my high horse, but, I just kind of wanted to, so you
Okay.
guys understand why they said that.
I get it.
Yeah. So, but as you can see, he's not cowering away, right? There's nothing abusive about what we did.
Yeah.
All we did was get him to understand, like, hey, look, man,
Yeah.
there is consequences.
Put him in his place.
Put him in his place.
Mhm.
That's actually.
They really, I could see how much they began liking you and
Yeah.
listening to you and, wanting that praise from
Yeah.
you and stuff.
Well, it's the
so-
respect too, they know what's coming behind it.
That's dogs understand that. That's how dogs communicate.
Yeah. I mean, Bandit's always been a little kooky.
Mhm.
He's, anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Oh, trust me. When we first, I went to put that leash on him.
Oh yeah, I heard it.
Like a Tasmanian dog.
Oh yeah,
Right?
when he gets his nails cut, that's what I
Yeah.
hear. It's
Yeah.
like that screeching.
That's because, and it's not really their responsibility, so to speak. It would benefit them to learn how.
Take it slow,
Take it
but they
slow.
want you in and out.
And I get it. They got to run a business. So that's where for you guys, it will probably specifically with him, because he's cool, he's not a problem. But him, just kind of sit on the couch or in the bed, wherever he's most comfortable.
Dremel.
And actually, because the Dremel, the noise can cause that reaction too.
Yeah.
So the clippers may be good. The only reason I don't like the clippers because I just haven't gotten good at testing when that I forget what it's called.
Quick.
Is that what it's called?
When you cut too far down,
Too far.
and you get the quick.
Yes.
Yeah, and they start bleeding.
I haven't, and that can cause.
Well, they said that he has really long quicks, so
Okay.
that his nails are truly never, to me, they're truly never that short,
Okay.
because they said he has long quicks.
Okay.
But Max his can get definitely shorter.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
that's why, I couldn't do it at home, so we
Mhm.
take him in.
Yeah.
But we usually go like once a month, cause
Mhm.
that's what they said, to make sure his nails stayed really
Yeah.
short.
Yeah. And you can create that. Walking on concrete creates it,
Yeah,
but obviously that takes longer.
yeah,
But yeah, I would actually probably use the clippers because it's faster, it's less dramatic, there's no noise. So it's just taking your time and timing it perfect to get it on there and clipping it as fast as you can.
okay.
So typically the bigger the clipper, the better because it's just easier for you to get in there and clip it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so. All right.
Can we
Yeah.
say hello?
Let me get this guy, yes. So he's actually free to, so what I would do is, if he comes to you, hey, shh.
That's so there, yeah.
But see, that's him, that's dog communication. That's him saying, hey man, relax, it's okay.
We've
Right.
seen that.
Yeah,
Okay, can I get down?
I wouldn't go down just yet. I would just pet him. And tell him good boy.
Nice,
Hey, shh, 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 shh.
boy.
Tell me to get down.
Get down.
Hey,
Whatever you want to use.
yeah, hey. Now, if you notice that little touch I did when he went to correct him, what I said to him was, hey, I don't need you to correct him, I got it, right? Because that's how fights start. He thinks he has to assume the leadership position, right? So that's what he was doing, right? He was literally telling him in that moment, like, hey man, you're doing too much, relax, right?
We've seen that.
Yeah, yeah. But we don't need him to do that. We can handle that.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Hey, good boy, yes. There we go. There we go. That's a good boy. I know.
Should Kurt call him?
He can, yeah.
Come here.
There we go. Good.
Good. Good boy.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. Perfect. That's a good boy.
those hand, what I did and I smack him twice, yeah, that means he
Nope.
knows he's
No.
dismissed. That's, I've done it before,
Mhm.
right, yeah, so.
Yeah, and that's, you know, again, that's, hey, I give you your love, I'm finished now.
And you put it on like where you can put like two fingers
Yes,
through.
yes, you know, you still wanna fit at least one finger comfortably, right? That way, of course, it's not choking him when it's no pressure, right? Now, obviously, when you put a little pressure, it's gonna apply a little bit more pressure. And that's where it's important, you know, when you apply that pressure, and once they do what you want them to do, let the pressure go, right? So, yeah.
And then if they come back to you, praise them for that attention.
Yeah.
That's what the difference is like we just stop them and then we don't tell
There's
them
no
that it's any
follow-through.
good, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. Correction, direction, right? Affection, yeah.
Take a look.
Good dog.
Hey, hey,
Go
hey,
on.
hey, hey, hey.
That's his bark
you-
or give me
Give me,
attention.
yeah.
Did you see that, Amy?
What?
Second time in a row where I say good dog and I tap him twice and he splits. Maxie.
Okay. Right. There you go, good boy. There you go, good boy. I didn't ask for you, Max. You get jealous too.
Yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Max, come here. Come on.
Then how do we do Bandit?
Good dog.
You
Come
gotta
on,
do it separate.
dog.
Gotta what?
You gotta do it separate. The same way I'm holding him now, so one person handles Bandit. And
Go on.
as he's
Ah.
getting, you know, his praise, he has to understand
Dog.
just because he gets
Come on,
praise doesn't
dog.
mean you get praise at the same time, right?
Okay.
So you just pull him in towards you, or, you know, the aggressive tap on the shoulder.
Same ones I used.
Hey, 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 there we go, good boy. And when he turns and gives you that eye contact, you praise him. So you guys can take turns with, you know, you handle him one time, he handles him the next time. And again, just over time, as you can see, he'll calm down. He's not perfect yet, right? But he's not barking. Hey, 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 hey. Good boy, there we go. Good boy. Good boy. And it'll help too because he has such a high food drive, like in moments where you know you're gonna be doing this,
Yeah,
present the food to him.
yeah.
Yep.
It makes it easier to keep him engaged.
Then he understands that this is what we're doing.
This is
Come
where
and
the
look
love-
at it, right?
Exactly. This is where the love is gonna come from. You're trying to get the love over here, but I'm giving you all the love here. So pay attention here.
Yeah. I have what you're looking for, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, 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 hey. Good boy. There we go. Good boy. That's a good boy.
See how he knows?
Down. Good boy.
Hey, 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 hey. There we go. Good boy. And if you notice, every hey, it coincides with the
Yank.
yeah. So as I go higher here, I go higher here. Because again, that gives us the access to when we don't have the leash. Hey, hey, hey! Then,
They looked right away,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Good boy.
yeah. So yeah, that's that.
Alright, sounds good.
Good.
Come. No, down.
So yeah, folks, that's that.
Bandit,
Nope, down.
you can use hay. Well, looks like you're keeping one.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I keep an eye on him. I don't want him to.
Yeah, he's about it. We've been inside a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we go outside?
Yeah, you guys can take it. Looks like he wants to go outside.
No. Hey, hey. No. Hey. Hey.
Good. There you go.
Maxie.
No,
Oh yeah, praise him. He stopped in his tracks. He came back to you. Oh yeah, that's
There you
beautiful.
go.
Yeah, those are the moments, right? Because he literally stopped in the shit. He was almost where he wanted to be. He stopped. I don't know if you saw it. He thought about it for
him where he was.
Yeah, he stopped. He thought about it for a moment, and then he made the decision to come back to you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, he's.
Hi, good boy.
Yeah.
Go outside.
That's
Go outside. Go outside. Go potty.
Oh yeah. There
We
you
gotta
go,
keep
folks.
an eye on the bunnies. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Let me.
Um,
All right, folks, we're out of here.
yeah.
Let me turn this off.